topic is enjoining good and forbidding evil. And enjoining good and forbidding evil, brothers, is actually a very foundational part of our deen. In fact, many of you studied the little yellow book, right? I'm seeing a handful of you that I saw that were with us when we studied it in the summertime. And when we studied the book, Al-Usul al-Thalatha, the three principles, meaning basically about the three questions that you've been asked in the grave, right? The Shaykh at the beginning of the book, he said, have knowledge of what? That there are 4 things that are obligatory on every Muslim. Number 1, knowledge. You have to find it, seek it. Number 2, implement it. What good is their knowledge that you don't implement? Right? Allah describes these people as like donkeys. The ones who, they have knowledge, but they're like donkeys with books on their back because they don't implement it. And then, after that, the Shaykh mentioned enjoining good and forbidding evil. You see people doing bad, tell them to do good. You see people doing evil, you show them the opposite. This is a part of the deen. The purification of the deen, it stands on this. The protection of the deen stands on this concept of enjoining good, telling them do this, forbidding evil, saying don't do that. And then the 4th thing you mentioned is patience. Because when you take that path now, you have to be patient. People are going to harm you. The Prophet ﷺ, when he took that path, he got harmed. You know, his daughter Zainab, radiallahu anha, she got killed because of his da'wah. She got attacked by a spear as she was leaving Mecca to come Medina. And a while later, she died because of that wound. His wife, Khadija, radiallahu anha, she died due to poverty, due to famine, due to hunger and starvation, because of the boycott that the Arabs put on the Prophet ﷺ because of his da'wah. So he never stopped. He said, this enjoying the good and forbidding evil, for me, I can't stop. I'm going to lose my wife, I'm going to lose my daughter, I'm going to lose my other daughter. The Prophet, all his kids died except for one. Fatima radiallahu anha is the only one who survived. The Prophet lost everyone that was around him. He had no mom, no dad, no granddad, no uncle, no son, his wife Khadija, she died. But they didn't get in the way of him and his da'wah. You have to be patient on this, right? So we find that people, they're missing all 4 of these. They're missing all 4. Knowledge, implementation of it, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, and then being patient upon that. And the reason I want to talk to you guys a bit more is because you guys are actually taking a path you're taking a path for knowledge, right? Allah barik. Some of you have, been doing a studying the Deen program, might be studying other places. You come here to knowledge con, you're learning knowledge, right? And you're implementing that knowledge, Allah barik, because you're here, you're praying 5 times a day, mashallah, in the jama'ah, doing wudu, praying your sunnahs, doing your dhikr, making your dua. So you're implementing. So then what's next for you? Enjoying good and forbidding evil. That doesn't mean you have to become a sheikh, make a YouTube channel, call yourself Dawah boy. You have to do that. But you have to, in your life, you have to enjoy good and forbid evil, brothers. And I tell you something. When a person sees evil and they don't stop it, it allows for the evil to spread. I remember back in the days, I was like a lot of you. I was worse than a lot of you, to be honest. Put your hand up if you're here and you're below 21. Allah, but that's most of you. You know me, I didn't even start practicing until I was 21. You're not 21, bro. I'm saying, so you, so many of you are better than me. Like, I started practicing, I was older than you. Allahumma barik. But I mean, obviously, I used to always have one thing that was always in the back of my mind. Like, if I saw like a practicing person, I would not walk with a girl. I'll make sure that girl, hey, move. I would not be seen close to her. Every now and again you might go play drum, you have a thobe, you have a kufi. So that kind of situation, I'm gonna be careful. I'm not gonna be hanging around females or around the wrong crowd, because in my language, Urdu, we call it sharm. In Arabic, we call it haya, right? That shame, modesty. You have that sense of that guilt, that remorse that you feel like, right, I'm kind of representing the deen. Forget a practicing person walk past me. If I just saw an uncle, a Muslim uncle walk past, even if he was clean shaven, I'd stop. I'd be like, this is wrong. If I was out listening to music, doing something dumb, I'd take it easy, right? That was my generation. It was literally like that. A boy and a girl would be hugging, kissing, like uncle walks by, get away from me. That's how they are. But nowadays, it's not like that, man. Nowadays, you see a girl in hijab, she's being touched up by a guy. In the middle of the bench on the high street, everyone's walking by, and no one gives a damn. No one says nothing to her, and she don't feel any certain way about it. that happened because we stopped forbidding evil. And sometimes something simple that, you know what, I remember one time I was in Kingston and I was in the Apple store. And well, like, this is the first time I saw it. It shocked me. Because I could never think of a hijabi girl. Like getting touchy-feely with a man in public, right? I could never imagine that. So I see this girl, she's checking out the Mac, and she's got her boyfriend, you know, around her. He's putting his arm around her, he's touching it inappropriately, just putting his head on her shoulder, just they're inappropriate. So I thought to myself, okay, calm. Now, how are we going to address this? Because this is a bit peak. This is a bit peak, like, you know, in public. Like, you must not see man here, you know what I'm saying? And I had like, you know me, when I walk into a place, you can clearly tell my act, right? Like, it's not like it's like my beard's invisible or anything, you know? Got the kufi, got the thobe, got the beard, Allahu Barik, yeah? Allahu Barik. So I'm there, and they didn't care. So I thought to myself, okay, cool. So I need to do something. So I thought to myself, okay, you know what I do? I walk by, I just made it a bit awkward for them. I literally came right in front. Assalamu alaikum. You know what? And I intentionally just paused there for a bit, and then I walked away, and they separated. And sometimes that's all they need, as in like, right, there's Muslims that are watching, and you feel a certain way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that was enough for them to be like, right, this is wrong what we're doing. You see what I'm saying? That's the least I've done. There's been times when, wallahi, the brothers have been with me. There's been times where I just see a boy and a girl, and I just have to stop. I'm so sorry, my brother, my sister. Like, really and truly, I really don't mean to interrupt you and whatever have you, but what you're doing is really, really sad. Like, it's upsetting me, man. Like, I'm worried for you. You're my sister in Islam. You're my sister in Islam. Like, I cannot lie to myself and say you're my sister in Islam and let you walk away with a guy when I know if that was my sister, I would never have her walking with another guy. So my heart is bleeding for you right now. And the guy tries to talk trash, and I'll be like, listen, my brother, would you let like one of these brothers take your sister around? He's like, no, I'm not sister, you see? What kind of a brother is this? Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, and then whenever I see that, there's going to be times where people are going to be like, shut up, mind your own business. That's where the patience comes in. But more often not, people are going to listen to it as long as you do it in the right way. As long as you don't do it in a way where it's like, oi, what you did? You're going to burn in hell. Wallah, you're going to burn in hell. You know? As long as you don't come like that, come to people like that you care for them. Like, let them know like my brother, my sister. I'm not saying go to sisters, by the way. Yeah? I don't approach sisters like that on their own. Yeah. I don't do that. There was a guy with her, his boyfriend kind of thing. There was one time I did approach a woman though. She was an actress from Bollywood. Huh? No. I don't know. Did you guys ever see that video?
Pakistan.
No, yeah, she's Pakistani, but she was in Bollywood, India, man. You guys ever seen the video? No. That was right at the beginning. Were you there that day? No. You weren't there that day. Yeah, but that was in my Ikhwani days. That was wrong. You should never approach a woman. But alhamdulillah, that actress, man, she's practicing, man. MashaAllah now. She got given doubt by some people. Point is, I'm not saying go to women. Don't go to women. That's wrong. Don't approach them. But the point is that you can identify and look at a certain situation and see how you can gauge it, right? I remember there was a similar situation to that one time in Hounslow High Street, right? And now, just by having one conversation, that person, Allahumma barik, is now married, with kids, studying the deen, Allahumma barik. Like, you don't know where one conversation can go. Do you see what I'm saying? But in the absence of that conversation, so much fitna and fasad takes place. When you don't address it, when you don't talk, people do all sorts. I was just with some brothers from Canada. Are you guys on the Bukhari TV brothers? Yeah. You guys know the Bukhari TV brothers? And they were talking to me about Canada. They were like, listen, like we're having a little competition about which country has the hardest gangsters. Yeah, not from the angle of like glorifying it, but from the angle of like whose situation is the worst. And I was like, look, in the UK they're worse. And my argument was because they don't shoot in England, they stab. And to stab, you have to really be cold-hearted. Like, you're going into man, his blood's gonna be on you. That's ruthless. As a you, man, you shoot guns, like, as in from far, run away. You see what I'm saying? And he was then. But then, he took it to another level, man. He's like, let me tell you what our people do. He goes, they stand in their blocks, and they actually play target practice with little kids walking to school. He says that's normal. He goes furthermore. He goes in our ends they kill students of knowledge. Like a guy walking a throw with a book under his armpit, it was lick him. Like we don't know if he's Shaheed. Inshallah he's Shaheed. Like the point is that's what they're like, right? So I was like, right, you man win. You man are devils. you man are on something else, right? And then the conversation went on to the issue of like the masjid. He's like, we can never get guys into the masjid. Like for us, gangsters don't come to the masjid. Because you man know what guys come to the masjid. I was like, yeah, for real. I was like, you might be walking down the street, and there might be a bag of man. You got a thobe in a beard. They're not going to do anything to you. Now it might be a little bit of a joke here or there, but really, true, no one's going to harm you, right? They're like, bro, in Canada, you'll get robbed, thobe or no thobe. You're on the wrong ends. You're on the wrong hood, as they say. You're going to get killed. Yeah. We actually know a brother. Who every time he gets dropped off, he has to run into his house. He's got a gun with him all the time because he can literally, from the time he gets dropped off outside his house, go into his house, he can get killed. Like, why did it become so bad? I realized from what I heard from the brother, they didn't forbid the evil. A guy would be drinking alcohol, he would just see him and not say anything. He'll just let it happen. A guy will sleep with a girl, no one will say anything. And Americans are very liberal in their nature, and Canadians, yeah? So already, like, remember, you're already getting affected by the kuffar. So the kuffar, they have this concept of just do what you want, don't judge me, live life. So then the Muslims kind of inherit this, and it's kind of like, I know what he's doing is wrong, but it's between him and Allah kind of thing, you know? He's thinking it's wrong. Now, you got people killing each other on the streets, man. It's evil. I'm saying literally, like, guys are playing target practice with little girls walking to school. And wallahi, I see England heading in that way. I see London heading in that way. I see it. Because people don't stop someone from saying something wrong. And when you do try to advise, like, other people attack you. You know, earlier we were talking about Yemen, the crisis in Yemen, the Muslims struggling, being killed, slaughtered everywhere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us how we can gain victory. Allah said, the way we will give them tamkeen, authority on the earth. No, Allah said, we will give them authority on the earth, and then He describes them. Who are they? الَّذِي the ones, أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةِ, they establish the prayer. وَآتَوُوا الزَّكَاةِ, they give the zakat, they give the charity. وَأَمَرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, they enjoin the good. And then they forbid the evil. So Allah is saying that the ones who we're going to give victory to are the ones who, they pray. I say Muslims ain't praying. Majority of Muslims are not praying. Zakat, majority of Muslims are not giving zakat. Enjoining good and forbidding evil. Rather now, something interesting happens. People, they forbid the good and they enjoy the evil. You come out and say, bro, this is shirk. This is bid'ah. Don't do this. This is wrong. This is wrong. They'll tell you, what are you doing? Leave them alone. Let them live. Why are you always up in their face? They're forbidding the good. And then they're enjoying the evil. To the point where you got charities now, like we were talking about earlier, saying, come, let's do a rave. Have a rave. Charities, do raves. I've seen it. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm saying that's the state of the ummah now. So that shows you. And what was it that Allah promised that He would give you? He would give you tamkeen, authority on the earth. So you could talk about the Muslims struggling, you're struggling all over the world. You can say hashtag free Palestine all day, every day. You can cry over Syrian babies, dead bodies pulling up on the shore. But we all have a part to play in it. The ummah, it suffers based on all of our sins, not just one sin. Allah said, ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادُ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِي النَّاسِ. Allah said, the corruption spread in the land and the sea because of the sins that the people have brought forth with their own hands. Our hands done this. So when you see people suffering, your sins had a part to play in it. Your sins had a part to play in that. Does that make sense? The Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, he gave the analogy of a boat, of a ship. You've got the top deck and the bottom deck. The guys at the top, right, they're chilling. The guys at the bottom, they always go to the guys at the top when they want water. They always say, hey, listen, can you give us water? Can you give us water? Every day they just go to the top and they're just bugging him, give us water. So then the Prophet ﷺ said that one day the guys at the bottom, they decide to have a very stupid idea, but they think it's smart. Pay attention. They say to themselves, listen, why don't... You can come through. You can come through.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, inshallah. بارك الله فيك جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم. إن شاء الله. السلام عليكم. بارك الله فيك. So the Prophet ﷺ said that one day the guys at the bottom, they decided to have an idea. They said, listen, we've been bugging the guys at the top for long. Why are we bugging them? Why are we stressing them? Let's just drill a hole in the bottom of the ship and get the water ourselves. So what's going to happen if they do that? It's going to drown, right? The Prophet ﷺ said, if the guys at the top don't stop the guys at the bottom, they're all going to get destroyed. That's what the ummah is like. If you see a guy and he's doing wrong, he's harming you. He's harming you. You're going to see it in your own self. Parents don't want to raise their kids properly, right? They teach, they don't stop their kids when they do madness. They might see someone do something wrong. What happens now? They're contributing towards a society where filth is just growing. Somehow, some way, that guy's going to have a kid, his kid's going to come back around and kill your kid. Then you're going to wonder why. It will affect you. It will come back to you. You see my point? A guy who sells alcohol in his shop. He's a Muslim guy. It's haram. He says, well, I have to feed my family. One guy gets drunk, come back round, stabs his son. Didn't even realize. Might have bought the liquor from his own store. Do you see what I'm saying? So you destroy yourself. You destroy yourself. And there's so much evidence for this. In fact, another place in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned that when your sins that we do, our sins that we do, when we see the effects of these sins in our life, yeah, He said it's not even for all the sins that we done, you know, right? Allah said, وَيَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. Allah said, and Allah erased, not forgave. He said, He erased a lot. So when we as a ummah are suffering on a ummah level, or you in your life you're suffering, you're depressed, you're heartbroken, you're broke, you're discontent with life, you're sad, you're struggling, wherever you're going through in your life, that's not making you feel like you're on cloud 9 right now, it's because of your sins. Allah said, a lot of it we forgave. If Allah was to hold you to account for everything, there would not even be an ant on the face of the planet. Everything would have to get destroyed. If you want Allah to be just and deal with you with regards to your sins, the way you put them forth, if Allah was to hold you to account for every sin, the whole earth would be destroyed. Because human beings sin too much. You see what I'm saying? So of course you stop sinning yourself, but that's the knowledge and implementation, which is the first two, right? The third one is, now you've got to teach others. You've got to stop others. You understand, brothers? This is really important, man. It's really important. The reason I'm saying this is because we're living in a day and age where people, when they come to the deen, and they don't like to give da'wah. They don't like to share it, man. They're just too scared, too shy, too timid. But when we all come into the deen, man, we love, like the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you will truly believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. What is this? Love, iman, guidance. I remember one time, after I started practicing, I was going to go see one of my non-Muslim friends. Okay? As in, we're not friends anymore. I don't have no non-Muslim friends. We don't need to make no non-Muslim friends. That's another controversial topic. No non-Muslim friends. You can cut it out, put it on Twitter. I don't care. The point is that, but he was a guy who used to be my friend. So I just wanted to catch up with him after a long time. Yeah? So I remember my friend, he said, the brother who gave me da'wah, he said to me, listen, have you ever given this guy da'wah? No. He says to me, are you going to go give him da'wah? I said, no, I just ain't seen him for a while, man. I haven't seen him for a while. He goes, have you ever given him da'wah? I said, no. He looked at me and said, well, you're a crap friend. I'm not going to lie, I took a date, man. I'm a good friend, alhamdulillah. I'm a good friend. Right, good. Inshallah, I'm a good friend. I like to think so. I think I'm loyal, I'm there, you got a problem, I'm there. I'm a good friend. He's telling me I'm a crap friend. I was like, why? He goes in, because this guy's going to burn in the hellfire. And you never once talk to him about Jannah, about Tawheed, about Allah, about confidence. You never once talk to him about it. He's your crap friend. I was like, whoa, that hit me, man. That hit me. It's a question mark on the kind of person you are. Selfish, greedy person, stingy person. There's a narration which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told Jibreel alayhi salam to destroy a nation. A village. If I'm not mistaken, it was a village. He said, destroy them. And Jibreel said, Ya Allah, but there's one man. And he's always worshipping you. He's always worshipping you, Ya Allah. He's worshipping so hard. What about him? Like, he's going to get destroyed too. And Allah said, start with him first. He said, why? He said, because he used to keep the guidance to himself. He used to keep it and never share it with anyone else. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the لَعْنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِن بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلِ عَلَى لِسَانِ دَاوُودَ وَعِيسَى بْنِ مَرْيَمَ. That there was a curse upon the disbelievers from the children of Israel, from the Jews. There's a curse on them, on the tongue of their prophets, David and Jesus. They cursed them. Why? Because they never used to stop people doing evil. They never used to stop it. So brothers, when you see it, wallahi, when you see it, you have to stop it. You have to see it, you have to stop it. It's a narration, I think it's by Hudhayfah ibn Yaman radiallahu anhu, or Ibn Abbas, I think it's in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, I can't remember which Sahabi narrated it. But the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that, or I think it might have just been mawquf to the Sahabi, but the narration mentioned that the people will sin and you will not stop the sin, such that you will raise your hands to make dua. Allah will not respond to your dua because you never used to stop evil. Your dua will be rejected. Nowadays, you've got people raising their hands to make dua, oh, my son's on drugs, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. That has not been accepted. You've never forbidden the evil. You know what I'm saying? And the dua is a weapon of a believer, man. Dua is what comes, when you need a miracle, you make dua. It works, it's real. Dua is real. Don't get twisted. We see dua produce crazy things. Allahumma barik. The issue is, some people dua has not been accepted, man. They don't forbid the evil. Does that make sense? Now, with that said, I just want to mention 2 quick side points, and then we'll just maybe have a little discussion amongst ourselves. Yeah? The first thing is, what's the priority of the evil that you forbid? Who could tell me? Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Go on, akhi. Shirk. What's shirk? To worship someone else besides Allah. To worship someone else besides Allah. My brothers, this is the greatest evil. There's no evil greater than this. Do you know why? Because this is certified hellfire. Forever. Eternity. Never coming out. So this is mine and yours biggest concern. So when you lot were on Snapchat, Christmas Day, or Instagram, Snapchat you shouldn't be on it because that homepage is dirty. Being serious, Snapchat is dirty, man. It'd be good to ask the scholars on that, man. 100%. I don't see that being permissible. But when you lot were on your Snapchats or your Instagram stories, how many of you saw Muslims celebrating Christmas? Put your hand up. How many saw Muslims celebrating Christmas? Christmas is what? Shirk, man. It's the day when Jesus, the Prophet of Allah, they celebrate him as the Son of God and God himself. Brothers, do you understand how evil that is? Do you know what Allah said in the Quran? Allah said, قَالَ اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا. They say that Ar-Rahman, Allah, Ar-Rahman has a son. Brothers, wallah, I want you to feel the pain in this verse. I want you to feel like this verse should make you feel pain. Allah said, they say Allah has a son. Allah said, they said something so evil. This is so disgusting. Allah said that the sky wants to split and the mountains want to come crashing down and the earth wants to destroy itself. One statement that they say Allah had a son, the whole earth wants to destruct itself. The earth can't take it. The earth is struggling to just keep itself together. Because they say that. And then you got Muslims handing out Christmas presents, Christmas crackers, putting out Christmas trees. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas? Merry Christmas. You know what that means? You know what that means? It's like, you know when we say Eid Mubarak? You're going to say Mubarak. You're congratulating what? You want, merriment and joy, happiness and joy. What? On the birth of the Son of God, who they say is God Himself. If you love Allah, wallahi, you'll feel pain, man. The earth loves Allah. That's why it wants to destroy it. Something like, when you hear someone insult your mom, your dad, you feel that pain inside you. It's like someone says something so deep, you might collapse on the floor. Like, how you say that about my mom? I'm saying the earth loves Allah. The earth's a real slave. But we humans, Allah gave us more. He gave us so much more. But for us, we don't feel pain when we see shirk. We see that filth, that dirt, that disgusting. We don't feel no pain. Further, Muslims try to justify it, bro. It's just a commercial holiday. Shut up. It's a religious holiday. And shaitan brought you into it and commercialized you. That doesn't take away from it. Shall I show you a proof? Let's come back to the Nike issue now. Some brothers, it's going to get controversial again, yeah. People say, look, it's connected. The reason it's connected. People will say to you, look, Nike, it's not worshipped anymore. Okay, we understand that the Greeks used to worship a goddess called, it's not worshipped no more. One day they're going to say the same about Christmas. You know what's an evidence to show you that even if there was something that was once worshipped besides Allah, and now longer it's not worshipped, like Nike, it's not worshipped anymore today, right? It's still haram. And I'll give you an evidence. There's a book called Kitab At-Tawheed, which you should all study. In the summer we're going to be doing it. Ustad Muhammad Tim Humble is going to be going through it. It's the little yellow book. It's part 2 of the Studying the Deen series. In there, the Shaykh has a chapter. It's called Babu La Yuzbahu Lillahi Bima Kana Yuzbahu Fihi Li Ghayrillah. It's called the chapter of not sacrificing an animal for Allah in a place in which an animal was sacrificed for another god once upon a time. And the hadith mentions نذر رجلا أن ينحر إبلا ببوانة. That there was a man, he took an oath that I'm going to sacrifice a camel for the sake of Allah. I'm going to sacrifice a camel for the sake of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ, he asked 2 questions. هل كان فيها وثن من أوثان الجاهلية يعبد? The Prophet ﷺ said, was there an idol from the idols that the people used to worship back in the days that was worshipped here? قالوا لا, they said no. هل كان فيها عيد من أعيادهم? Was there a celebration from the celebrations of the kuffar, the disbelievers, before? A day of a festival, an Eid, a festival celebration? قالوا لا. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, أوفي بنذرك. He said, okay, now fulfill your oath. The understanding from the hadith was that if this was a place, or it was a place in which they once celebrated, or they once sacrificed animals besides Allah, then it would still be haram for you to sacrifice an animal for Allah in that place. Like in Nike. It's not even worship. I'm saying you're not allowed to worship. You're not allowed to worship in a place where once they done shirk. You're not allowed to worship in a place where they once done shirk. Because they once did it, even if they don't do it anymore. So what about things that are not even worship? I'll give you another example. The salah. What's the greatest physical act that you can do in this religion? Salah, right?
I got a question. Sorry, I don't know.
Go for it.
Basically, what about churches that were made into mosques?
Good to ask the scholars, inshallah. Ask the mashayikh. Ask the mashayikh. Tomorrow, inshallah, ask in the Q&A, inshallah. It's a good question, Allah Mbari. Come back to the point I was making. What's the point I was making? The issue of the salah. The greatest act of worship that you do in the deen when you accept your shahada is what? Salah, right? It's the first thing you're asked about on the day of judgment. Can a person think there's anything wrong with praying salah? Can you be sinning for praying salah? Yeah, you can. If you pray at the time when the sun is rising, it's haram to pray. You know why? Because at that time, the people who used to worship the sun, people used to worship the sun. Not anymore. Do you find sun worshippers? Have you seen a sun? I ain't seen no sun worshippers. But at that time, they used to make sajda to the sun when it would rise. So when you pray your salah, what do? You make sajda. So the Prophet ﷺ made praying to Allah, the salah, haram at that time. Because you might look like people who once used to worship besides Allah the sun. So ibadat become haram for you because it might resemble the shirk of what other people do. What about things that are not even ibadah? like Christmas, for example. So, and what I'm telling you, brothers, is that this leads to eternality in the hellfire. Like Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhuma, he said that anyone who engages in the festivals of the non-Muslims, his companion, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anyone who celebrates and participates in the festivals of the non-Muslims, he'll be resurrected on the day of judgment with them. So the Muslims who celebrate Christmas, they're not being resurrected with the Muslims. They're going to be resurrected with the pastor. May Allah protect them. I think that's what it is, because when you participate in their religion, it can, not saying it always does, but it can take you outside of holy Islam in entirety. Does that make sense? So I'm just using Christmas as an example because Christmas was just around the other day. Point is, brothers, when you see shirk, this should be the thing that's most painful to you. That should be the most primary thing. Number 2 is bid'ah. Bid'ah is opposing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's sunnah. Okay? The Prophet had a sunnah, he had a way. He had a sunnah in terms of what he believed in his heart. He had a sunnah in terms of what he spoke on his tongue. And he had a sunnah in terms of what he did with his body, his limbs, his actions. You have to follow the Prophet in all 3. If you believe something that the Prophet didn't believe, you're now doing bid'ah. If you did with your tongue what the Prophet didn't do, this is bid'ah. If you do with your limbs what the Prophet didn't do, this is now bid'ah. But then someone will say, okay, but the Prophet ﷺ never drove a car, so the car bid'ah? No, because we're only talking about worship. We're only talking about worship. Believe what the Prophet believed when it came to the deen. Do as the Prophet did when it came to the deen, ibadah. Say as the Prophet said when it came to ibadah. Anything that's dunya related, no problem, do your thing. As long as it's not haram, you can do it, inshallah. Now the thing is, brothers, this one, wallahi, this is the one that catches people. This is the one that catches people. Shall I tell you why? Because this is the Muslims. He is a Muslim, he's got a beard, he prays. But he's still at risk of going to the hellfire. The Prophet ﷺ said, سَتَفْتَرِقُ أُمَّتِي عَلَى 73 فِرْقَةٍ. Yes, my ummah will be divided into 73 sects. كُلَّهَا فِي النَّارِ. All of them are going to go hell. 73 sects my ummah is divided into, all are going hell. إِلَّا وَاحِدًا. Except for one. Straight where the companions are scared. Whoa, what's this one sect that's going to be saved? Everyone else, you're telling me 72 are going to go hell? Only one's going to be saved? I need to know what that one is. So the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ كَانَ عَلَى مِثْلِ مَا أَنَا عَلَيَّ وَأَصْحَابِي. He said, it is whoever is upon what I'm upon and what my companions are upon. Whatever I'm upon and my companions are upon. The Prophet's path and the companions' path. This is why we say follow the path of the Salaf, because Salaf means those who came before. Those who came right before us is who? The companions. So when we say we follow the Salaf, we say we follow the companions. The Prophet said it. Follow me, and my companions. That's the path of the Salaf. Manhaj means path, Salaf means companions. Simple as, right? Manhaj is Salaf. Nothing too complicated about that, right? I'm saying that's what you follow. Everyone else is on a misguided path. Now, why am I focused on this point? Because you'll see every other group amongst the Muslims that went wrong. You know why they went wrong? I'm not talking about kuffar, I'm talking about Muslims who fell into one of the 72 sects. It's because they didn't follow the companions. The Shia are the first to fly out the window because they believe the companions are kuffar. So Shia disqualified. Okay? The Ash'ari is the same. They look at the companions that they were backwards. They take from the Greek philosophers. They actually built their aqidah on Greek philosophy. They'll tell me, don't quote me Abu Bakr, I'm bringing Socrates. Bruv, move Socrates out my bloody way, bruv. You mad? Don't say Abu Bakr, bruv. You'll tell me Aristotle and Plato. Shut up. That's what they like. Why not? You think I'm joking? They wrote books, so they built their creed. Sufis are Ash'ari. Deobandis are Maturidi. The Ash'ari, same thing. Their creed is built on the Greek philosophers' works. Right? Then you got these ISIS kind of guys. That's how you look. You have to kill people now. You have to, establish the law of Allah. You have to go, dead a man, blow people up. Then they tell you verses. Allah says, قَاتِلُهُمْ حَتَّى لَا تَكُونُ فِتْنَةً. Fight them until there's no more fitna. Fitna in the ayah means kufr. We have to fight them and kill them until there's no kuffar left. Right? But then did they take the companions' understanding of these verses? No one's denying that the deen It requires certain measures to be taken at certain times. Let's not beat around the bush. We ain't no sellouts here. But then the Sahaba, they applied these verses at the right time, in the right way. For example, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, there were people at his time. You know ISIS, this group belongs to the sect called the Khawarij. They always existed. Their name always changed, but they always had the same belief. They always had the same extreme belief. They existed at the time of the companions. And they used to take these same verses and run around with them, and they used to kill Muslims because of it. They used to slaughter Muslims. You know, ISIS and them, man, they killed more Muslims than non-Muslims, you know that, right? They kill more Muslims than non-Muslims. They don't even kill non-Muslims. They don't even fight. You know, they're not even fighting non-Muslims. They fight Muslims. They kill Muslims. So they always spilt more Muslim blood than anyone else, right? So the point is, they used to take these same verses and they used to throw them around. And Abdullah ibn Umar used to say, no. He said, we used to fight. Talking about himself and the Prophet and the companions. He said, we used to fight to remove the fitna. You fight to create the fitna. They talk about, إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. There is no law except for the law of Allah. مَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Anyone who doesn't rule by other than Allah's law is a kafir. Says you're a kafir, now you have to die. But then the companions used to say, like Abdullah ibn Abbas, the Prophet made dua for him to learn the interpretation of the Quran. The Prophet's dua is never rejected. He used to say, this is not the kufr that you guys are running around with. This is the minor kufr. The kufr that doesn't take you outside the fold of Islam. It's wrong. No one's trying to belittle how bad it is. But that's what they do. The point is, they don't go to the companions. Every group, every sect you'll find, they don't follow the companions. Muslims, they start to suffer around the world. What does everyone do? They start getting picket signs, go to Trafalgar Square and they protest. I want you to really get an understanding of what takes place there. Yeah, you got girls with lipstick. Yeah, she's got blusher, fake eyelashes, some devil nails coming out, right? Perfume, mad. There's a brother there. He got a shape up for the protest, bro. Why are you getting a shape up for the protest? I thought your brothers and sisters were dying, bro. Why are you getting a shape up for the protest? How you got time to think about a shape up? I thought this was for Syrian Muslims, right? And what do? They stand together and they're like, free Syria. Just start singing, Syria. They start singing. I'm not trying to mock it. They start singing. And then the boys and the girls, they're like this, Syria, holding their hands, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's what they're doing. A kafir will come in, and a guy's there. Next thing he doesn't realize he's got his arm around a girl. This was taking place. Wallahi, you think to yourself, honestly, this is a nightclub with a couple of hijabis. There's a rave in Trafalgar with a couple of hijabis, okay? And all you're doing is free Palestine. You're just saying it, bro. Do you really think Allah's going to give victory to a group like that? Do you think the Sahaba did that? You know what the Sahaba did when that kind of... You know what the Prophet did and the Sahaba used to do when that kind of fitna used to happen? He used to make dua. Now you tell them make dua, you know what they say? Is that what... Dua? Do something, brother. Practical. Say, you blind person. Dua is my weapon. Dua is my weapon. The Prophet is the weapon of the believer. You're asking Allah. إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. If you ask Allah. قَالَ رَبُّكُمْ ادْعُونِي. Your Lord said, make dua to me. أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. I will respond to you. Allah didn't lie. Allah said, make dua, I respond. And you know what the proof of this is? Wallah, I was shocked. I remember this day, I was crying so much when this happened. You know, when the whole issue, I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of years ago, there was an issue with Aleppo. Aleppo, right? We actually done an event called Aleppo has been taken. Was anyone there at that event? That was a while ago. Aleppo has been taken. And
Where is Aleppo?
Aleppo was in Syria. And what the Syrian regime done was that they literally surrounded the whole city and they were just closing in. There was no way for the Muslims to get out. Killing every day, just getting closer to the center. Killing. And wallah, it was so emotional. For those of you who remember, wallah, every day we were just looking at the screen. Like, I can't do nothing. No armies going there to help, nothing. And just seeing videos of my brothers and sisters. Every day, another body. And literally, they were literally just minutes away from the whole city. And they were just dropping bombs at night. They surrounded, everyone was there just literally taking the shahada, ready to die. Videos are coming out on Twitter, wallah, ready. Just we're in this bunker, just waiting. Any minute a bomb's gonna come, we're gonna go. And these guys, wallah, I remember they were out there. They were doing their protests. Well, like, you know protest, like, you know how weak that is? You know when you protest, protest means what? You're asking, you're begging. Who are you begging? Kuffar. You're trying to tell David Cameron, Theresa May, please, do something for us. Why you belittle yourself to that? How can you belittle yourself to ask them? They don't have no control. And let's say you somehow took the view that kind of protesting is permissible. Did you even ask Allah first? Like, you know when people are sick, they come to the person who does ruqya to read Quran at the end. They say, we tried everything. All the doctors, all the medicine. Now we come to you. Why did you come to the guy to read Quran last? Why was the Quran not the first place you went to? Because you didn't really believe that Allah could help, right? You didn't really believe Allah had control. So that's why you come at the end, because you kind of give up. And then that doesn't really even work because you never really did it with true iman. You see what I'm saying? So I remember I drove past, not intentionally, but I actually drove past when they were doing the protest. And I saw it, man. It was so disgusting, man. Boys and girls, like, literally just, wallah, it's haram. It's haram. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim's got a book called Turuq al-Hukmiyya. It's a book about government, Islamic government. He mentioned when men and women free mix, it's the reason why the government becomes destroyed. Why Muslim countries become destroyed. He brings evidences. So I remember to be honest, it was not wise of me to do this, but what I said was still right. But it was because people were emotional. I shouldn't have done it. But I just remember I just recorded the video on my phone, and I was like, look at this, man. People are out there protesting. Nothing's happening. And they're free mixing and whatnot. And I remember the internet went mad at me, as they do. And they were like, look at this guy. Men and women are being bombed, shot down, killed, and he's caring about free mixing. Like, just to belittle the issue. Because they belittled it. But I'm thinking, is Allah gonna, because you actually think the government's gonna intervene and there's gonna be some intervention, right? You think that's what's gonna happen. But I'm looking at it as all the governments can come together to help the Muslims. If Allah doesn't look at you and say, I'm gonna help you, no one's being helped. So I'm like, are you people looking at the kind of people Allah wants to help right now? Myself included, I'm with you. I'm not above you. I'm a sinner just like you. Just so you know, I know what happens behind closed doors in my life. I'm just like you. Don't get twisted. I just got a big mouth. That's the only difference. The point is that I looked at that, and people never understood it though. They just took it emotionally. And then a couple of days went by, and they were doing their protest. Nothing was working, and literally it was the last day. It was this day where it was like, okay, these guys they're gonna get killed. So the night before, we literally within 2-3 days we held an event called Aleppo's Been Taken, and we decided to do talks to teach people why the Ummah is suffering because of our sins, like I just told you now, and this, so on, to educate people. And then we got everyone together. We prayed Salatul Isha, and we done Du'a Qunut. We made Du'a. The videos online. Ustad Abdurrahman was leading the prayer, and he made Du'a for Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to give victory to the Muslims, right? And I'm not saying it was his dua, our dua that was accepted. I'm saying that's what the right thing to do was. We didn't just think, okay, let's just sit back and just like whinge and whine. No, we said no. This is what Tawheed is. This is worship, right? This is what ibadah is. We worship Allah, right? So we said, okay, let's make it practical. Let's bring the people together, Salatul Isha, and in there make the dua, like the Sahaba and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do. Then, if I'm not mistaken, it was the next day, and that was the day where it was like, it's game over. It was game over. So I remember I was praying Maghrib, and it must have been a couple of brothers praying with me as well. I remember I was making the dua at that time. Okay? Don't get twisted. I'm not trying to say this is because of my dua. But I'm trying to show you, emotionally for me, it just convinced me that dua, wallahi, was the most powerful thing that could have been done. So we made dua. I remember it was emotional because we were feeling it, man. Like the whole world was like, rah, this is peak. After the salah and the dua, I must have gone to the internet. I'm like, rah, the people at Aleppo are safe. What happened? Allah sent rain. Okay. The planes that were bombing them, they can't fly no more. The rain won't stop. Because the rain, they can't bomb them. So the rain stopped the bombing. Allah caused them to not be able to fly their planes. لا يعلم جنود ربك إلا هو. No one knows the army of his Lord except for him. Only Allah knows what soldiers he was. He sent the rain. And suddenly they couldn't fly their planes. And that bought time for Turkey to get involved and help and arrange for a ceasefire. But that wasn't happening. And they were going to kill them that day. Literally, that hour was death. Allah sent down the rain. And there was enough people at that time, because remember, at the end is when people start to make dua, right? Even the protesting people didn't realize it's not working now. Let's make dua. They realized, subhanAllah, I didn't get her number, nor did Theresa May listen to me. Nothing happened. So even they, when and I'm not gonna, and people were there, now people were saying dua, make dua for Syria, pray for Syria. People started making dua. Ummah started to make dua, and then suddenly, boom. Allah sent down the rain. Went on a tangent. The point I was trying to tell you is that this is what the Sahaba would do. They were worshippers. They used to worship. Whatever situation, they used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the point is we have to follow the Sahaba. And that's the opposite of all these other groups amongst the Muslims who do bid'ah. And the last thing that you forbid the people on is just sins. Like major sins. Music, alcohol, drugs, disobeying the parents, etc., so on and so forth. These are the things that you stop them. But the first thing is shirk. That's what you start with. If a guy's got a gunshot to his head, a bullet wound in his head, he's got a bullet wound on his chest, but he's got a headache, what's the doctor going to treat first? Bullet wound, not the headache. If he treats the headache, he's going to get done for malpractice. Right? Because that's more urgent, right? So the guy, he's smoking weed, but he's, doing shirk. You can't talk to him about the weed, bro. He's not even worshipping Allah. And what falls under that, by the way, is not praying. Not praying is kufr. There's unanimous consensus amongst the Sahaba. A man who doesn't pray is not a Muslim. If you abandon the salah, you leave and you also abandon Islam. So many evidences for this. But it's a long discussion, okay? It's a long discussion. But the point is that a guy's not praying and you're talking to him about his girlfriend. But tell him pray first. And then, okay, alhamdulillah, he's a Muslim. Okay, teach him the sunnah. Okay, mashallah, now he knows the sunnah. He's sinning now, watching pornography, doing this. Okay, get that out of the way. The point is, teach them. And finally, inshallah, just to conclude, the other second point, I'm not going to make it long and waffle and go off on a tangent, but is how should you enjoy the good and forbid the evil? Brothers, three things. Three things. If you ever want to enjoy good and forbid evil, you do it in three ways. Number one, you do it with knowledge. Don't just go to the person and say this is wrong. Now you need to have knowledge. Drop a hadith, drop an ayah. Examples of the Prophet ﷺ, statements of Salaf, Sahaba. Give them knowledge. Because they're going to look at you and say, some of them don't even realize it's haram. That's the day and age we live in. They don't even realize it's wrong. I remember I was at an Islamic program once in America. An Islamic program where people actually left in the holidays to go and study Islamic studies. There was boys and there was girls, right? And then that's what one of the guys, he was just hanging around with one of the girls. And I was like, bro, you did? Well, she's my friend. He's like, she's my friend, In America's how they do it. I was like, bro. She's not your friend. She's haram for you. He's like, what are you talking about, bro? She's my friend. We're just friends. It's like he just wants to just hang out. He genuinely didn't know. He didn't understand. People genuinely didn't know, so give them knowledge, number one. Number two, be just. Be just, man. Don't be unfair. Don't be unfair. Don't accuse people of that which they haven't done. Don't hold them to account for things that they're not guilty of. If you made a mistake once, sometimes I see a brother make a mistake. And I won't even necessarily pull him up on it. Because I know it's a mistake. He didn't even mean it. I let it go. For me to pull him up on it every time. And it's a bit unnecessary because it's like, I know you didn't mean it like that. I look at you in your context, right? And I know. And don't hold people to account for, for example, you see a guy, he says hi to a girl and you're like, oh, you're probably sleeping with her. It's not, you're being unjust. And the third thing, and brothers, this one's so important. Listen, is mercy. Talk to people with mercy. You know why a lot of brothers, they listen to me? I don't know, I feel like they listen to me. It's because I feel like they genuinely believe that I really care for them, man. They believe I'm merciful to them. I believe they believe I genuinely care for them. That's because when I go to them, I don't just go and hammer down their throat and just be like, hey, what are you doing? Boom. This is wrong. You know when you guys saw that video of me and then and I told people shut up in the masjid. I was like, shut up. You guys seen that? You know, it wasn't the first day. I was with those guys for months. So, and they weren't upset about it. Right, Mohammed? Where's Mohammed? Where is he? They weren't upset about it, right? Was anyone upset about it? No, they weren't upset about it because they knew it was coming from a place of love. You see what I'm saying? So the reason I'm saying that is because mercy doesn't mean you can't be harsh. Sometimes being harsh is mercy. Like, you know, if I get a stain on my thobe, I'm going to scrub it hard, right? Is it because I hate my thobe? Why am I being tough? I love my thobe. But I'm being harsh. There's a time and a place. But if I came first time I saw these brothers, I'm like, shut up. They're going to be like, this guy's mad. What are you doing, bro? Calm down. But me, I go, hey, assalamu alaikum, how you doing? Bro, you want to go out, have a meal? Oh, let me take you out, let's get some food. Like, they know this guy's been merciful to me. So one day when he gets angry, it has a bit more of an effect. You see what I'm saying? But what we just jump straight to the angry thing. It was sad, man, outside the masjid, just here outside one of the sessions today. There was one young brother, right? I think he must have been like 12. And I came up and one uncle was just blasting him. And I just came up as a joke. I was like, I tried to look out for the youngers. I was like, these are good kids, uncle. MashaAllah, you know? He's like, no, this one's naughty. And I'm thinking, wow, what's he done? Maybe I should join and stick it on him as well, because I don't mind sticking it on someone if he deserves it. And then basically, when I listened to the story, the uncle slapped the kid, man. And the kid was he's apologizing. Like, he didn't even do anything wrong. Maybe he had a bit of attitude, Allahu Alam. But from what I was hearing, the kid didn't even sound like he did nothing too deep. And he was apologizing. And he's not even having an apology. He went to shake his hand and he slaps his hand. And I'm like, just looking at the uncle thinking, this is why kids don't come to the masjid. You see my point? I say, be merciful to the people. That doesn't mean you can't be tough, but toughness doesn't come. Like, if a person, all he sees from you is, ha, 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 he's going to think, you don't even care about me. You see what I'm saying? So to summarize, enjoy good, forbid evil. Otherwise, Allah will destroy us as a nation, He will destroy us as individuals. Number 2, the order of priority first is shirk, bid'ah, and then sins. And the way you do it is knowledge, justice, and mercy. Yeah? Inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.